Heidi-ho, heidi-ho. So, today we're going to go back to the things that are going on around the world. Many of these things are not by accident. So, there are a group of people, and yeah, a lot of people are saying it's the Epstein class, but it's a lot deeper than that. So, it's the religion of Samael, which would be Hasatan, Satan, who they believe in things like the lips of wisdom are sealed except to the ears of understanding. Instead of the voice of wisdom is silent except to the ears of understanding. The difference between those two is one is a man in his pomp believing that he has a right to knowledge and wisdom and discernment, and he has a right to use that to influence others in a negative way. Because only a man who's wicked believes in obtaining knowledge and holding it to himself, or that he knows a man's heart to the point where he knows whether or not he deserves to have a certain knowledge. And there's another saying, and it is order out of chaos. Usually those individuals are perverse in their thinking. That's why it's the religion of Samael, Hasatan, Satan. And then there's Sabbatean Frankist ideology. Frankism is taking everything and turning it on its head. And they believe in order out of chaos, and they create chaos purposely. So they do all the things that we're commanded not to do. They do them because they're trying to bring HaMashiach, because it says HaMashiach will come, and this is their belief. So HaMashiach will come in either a good way or in a bad way, and because they believe that the world can't be all good, that they can turn the world into all bad. Well, see, the problem with that philosophy is it's your belief that you have control over creation itself. So, our Ima Abba, mother and father, is part of the problem, because a fool in his pomp believes that we have a creator, God, and not goddess. They believe that God created the world and it's He and Him, not Ima Abba. So the source of all life is our Ima Abba, mother and father. So anyway, that whole Frankist ideology is wicked. So they believe in telling half-truths and misleading others and using a fictitious conveyance of language. So all those men with that nom de guerre on their chest, that's called a nom de guerre. That's a war name. So it's an assumed identity, like Rambo. And I've explained this before on other different forums that I'm on. So that's an assumed identity. So that's not your given name. So when you point at that, that just shows how much in their pomp, how ignorant they are. They believe what they're told and they don't study the law. So when you point at that, what you're doing is you're violating Title 18 of the United States Code 1001-1002, a false and misleading statement. That's not your name. That's an assumed identity, not an actual identity. So it's hilarious, but it's sad, because it all comes down to the Yetzirah, the evil inclination, which is reptilian mind, base wants instead of base needs. So a man doesn't need to be in a position of power for financial gain. And unfortunately, most men who go in those positions of power are seeking financial gain. So it'll be a poor kid who grows up in a poor environment may enlist in the military, not just to be patriotic, but that was his only way of seeing out of poverty. And they have the system set up that way purposely, because after all, it does go back to the Frankist ideology. They control both sides of the war. So it's the poor killing the poor. It's not the plutocrats killing the plutocrats. It's the poor killing the poor. You know, and then they do a lot of things, what they call false flags and psyops, and make you believe there's certain things going on that aren't going on, and all this, that, and the other. But anyway, so all this stuff that's going on, you really need to look at it, and what they are trying to gain. So the one thing they're saying they're trying to gain, you know, they push that Second Amendment. So the Second Amendment is not something that you get because somebody wrote it on a piece of paper. It's them acknowledging as members of that corporation that they have to acknowledge those rights, that you have those rights. But then they create documents like a concealed carry permit. So So that's permitting you to have your right. That's not a right. That's now you're getting permission. So there's a big difference. So anyway, those guys with that Frankist ideology, that's how they think. They believe in doing all kind of heinous things towards children and not just children, adults as well. You know, sexual things to bring about HaMashiach, because like I said, HaMashiach comes. So it's taught in Kabbalah and Torah. There are two Mashiachs, and one is Mashiach ben Yosef, the son of Joseph, and one is Mashiach ben David, which would be the son of King David. The son of King David comes. This time when he comes, he's not going to be allowed to kill anybody. So he's not going to be a man of war, as he was in his past. And then Mashiach ben Yosef, he's the one that's going to come and make a declaration of war against the world. But he's going to make a declaration. See, that's the thing, is you miss, if you don't peel the onion and see the layers inside the onion, you miss the truth. So he's not going to be at war with the world per se, but he is. He's going to come in a way to where he's going to want to try to enlighten the masses and see where they have been fooled. So things like the Gregorian calendar and the Hebrew calendar, there's a big difference. And so different religions are created using that Julian calendar, which Julius Caesar originally created, and then now it's the Gregorian calendar from Pope Gregory. So they're getting you to follow that calendar and those holidays, because that's Hollywood, and they're telling you right up front that it's all got to do with magic, idolatry. So you have your American idols. Think about it. They're telling you up front, and it's wickedness, it's witchcraft, it's just a sickness, and they want you to idolize other men and women. So they put them in the forefront. And like I mentioned yesterday, how I have been offered. So a certain group, and anybody who's done any research, they probably know which group I'm talking about. One of the elite groups, one of the secretive groups, has offered me. And the last time they made an offer, it was $5 million first installment and $3 million a month thereafter. And basically what that's called hush money. So you join the group, you make a pledge with that group to keep your mouth shut. So because I see certain things and I don't agree with certain things, they've tried to pay me off. Kind of like many other men. And a lot of men fall for it. And you could tell when they fall for it, because then they start pushing the crap of the oligarchs and the plutocrats. So anyway, every country is being run by the Erev Rav, what a Jew knows as the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude. It's not being run by righteous men. And by default, you can't say it is, because it's not, because HaMashiach's not here. So if you believe in HaMashiach, whether you're a Christian, a Jew, or Muslim, you believe in a Redeemer, then you know that he is going to rule the world. But he's going to rule it in righteousness. So he's not going to believe in the corruption. So he's not going to believe that a judge should have any stocks and bonds in the prison system, because that's accepting gifts, and the gifts do blind the eyes of justice, because now you're worried about your profit margin. And that's the problem with the courts, the way they're set up. And it's not just here on this portion of land, Turtle Island, to that jackass that actually had that thing, Turtle Island Movement. We captured some guys from the Turtle Island Movement. Well, the name of this land was Turtle Island before you came here and committed a Holocaust against the people that lived here. So anyway, that's a Frankist ideology. Well, and then he doesn't have a problem with, it's funny because this little things pop up on my mind. I saw this the other day. There's a guy who claims to be a Jew. He wears a kippah and everything, but he's about the furthest thing from a Jew. He's the Erev Rav. He's Rasha. He's wicked. Anyway, he doesn't have any problem with using the name America. Well, that came from Rome. And anybody who actually deeply delves into Kabbalah and Torah, they know Rome is actually run by Hasatan. So, yeah, we captured. So he talks all about how they train the police and teach them how to use a fictitious conveyance of language to entrap others. That's wicked. So anyway, it goes back to Gan Eden. and the sins of the father will be visited upon the children up to the third and fourth generation. Well, the sins of the father have been visited on every generation since the beginning of time. And the sins of the father is this. It's using a perverse language. So Hasatan beguiled Chava, which is Eve. He beguiled Chava by using a fictitious conveyance of language. And if you go back and you read Genesis and really look at it, that's how Hasatan beguiled Chava, by using a fictitious conveyance of language. Did he surely say you would die if you touch it? So it's how they word things. So that's a wicked heart. That's being a rasha. That's being wicked. So they like to name other people and give other people names, because after all, if you claim the name that I gave you, then I created you. So now I'm your creator. It's witchcraft. It's wicked. Sit and think about what I just said. If you claim a name that somebody else created for you, then you're claiming to be in their creation, not Hashem's creation. Ha'aretz, all the earth is mine. Kili kol ha'aretz is what our Imam says. All the earth is mine. But it's all the universe is also our Imam's. So that's the message for today. Start paying attention to these people. They're telling you right up front. You just need to learn how to syntax words, what the roots of the words are, and really listen to what they're telling you. When they believe they have a right to rule over you, they're rasha, they're wicked. God bless. Much love.